And good morning and welcome to Things You Might Not Have Heard for today. Today happens to be Friday, May the 12th, 2023. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm here for you to give you the latest in news that happened yesterday, the latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture. And as your supplemental source, your go to for supplemental news, we will give you some mainstream stuff and some unconventional news stories to get your day started. So we're glad you're here with us. We had our teaser graphic, and that is, of course, Mindy Kaling. And so we'll talk about her and what she's up to and how she's up to it, if you will, plus 7 other stories that you vetted as conversational based on you interacting with our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. We'll explain how that works a little in detail, more detail, after we get through the headlines, but the news comes first. Plus, we'll follow it up with some fun stuff, birthdays, some history just today, and one thing that you might not have known that may be interesting or may turn into just one of those things. We'll get to that in about 10 minutes. So hang on with that. Now, let's get into the real stuff. Now, remember, you can go to our main website. This is a conversationproject.com, and find more details about what's going on. Me saying that here and me doing a little bit of spiel later saves out on some time of me doing the selling of our stuff, but there will be selling of stuff. So don't think you're getting out of that stuff. I mean, easily. We will sell you some stuff later on. But check us out at our main website for more details on things we are doing around the campus, if you will. Now, the headlines, 8 for today, vetted by you and curated by me, starting off with story number 1 for the morning. Deeply saddened by the loss, General Hospital star Jacklyn Zeman dead at 70. She played Bobby Spencer on the hit soap General Hospital for more than 45 years, playing the character, leaving a lasting legacy for the soap opera for people who loved it and still love soap operas. One of the things that I was a big fan of back in the day was General Hospital, watching General Hospital with my grandmother, and then, as I got older, I watched it because I was hooked, to be honest. Those Spencer folks, and Luke Spencer, and the Demerits. Well, the Demerits are Days of Our Lives. I'm getting my characters confused at the moment. But let's talk about Jackie Zima. Died after a short battle with cancer, her family told ABC News. Basically, she loved the stories and loved the cast and loved being on the set of that one. Her being a down-to-earth character met with her being a down-to-earth person, many people said, in tributes to her in the past day. We are sending many, many, many positive thoughts towards the fans of General Hospital who are missing their character, their person, Jacqueline, and of course Bobby, and the friends and family of Miss Zeman, who actually exist in real life and not in the fantasies of writers and people who overtake these things a bit too seriously. Let's move to story number 2. Someone who may be overtaking something a bit too seriously, talking about Mindy Kaling, who credits running and hiking for her new dramatic weight loss, although the internet pretty much assures she's on Ozempic. She has a slimmed down physique and is making headlines. A lot of pictures showing her nice and skinny, if you will. But the people out there in the internets are kind of not buying the stories she's selling. She's saying heavy exercise, a lot of running, a lot of hiking, a lot of physical activity, and monitor her health more to be more fit for this. Many people believe there's some actual work into this, and by work, they mean that she's one of the many people in Hollywood who is taking Ozempic for reasons to mostly lose weight. Now, let me be a bit, come out of my shell on this one. I have recently started taking Ozempic, but I'm actually a type 2 diabetic and have went through a whole lot of stuff. You may remember the whole we disappeared for a month thing. Part of it was my house was hit by a tornado. The other part was I was in the hospital for a week. Yeah, blood sugar and kidney related things due to my diabetes. Ozempic, since I've been on it for about a month now, I have lost significant weight and kept it off because, to be honest, I'm not eating as much. So Ozempic is a wonder drug for people who need it because it's regulated my blood sugar like never before, and also the side effect that it makes you lose weight because you don't eat very much. The problem is, and it costs so much, because many people just go out and can afford to buy a dose of it and just go with it for the expense because Hollywood. Mindy has talked about her weight loss journey in the past and how right now she's doing the best she can to keep things going. Even going to the part of coming out with a line of swimwear, which you have to be kind of, really into yourself to be able to pull that off. But she's saying it's real exercise. The internets are saying it's a lot of real drugs. Speaking of the internets, let's go to Bad Baby. She says it's creepy that men subscribed to her OnlyFans when she was so young. That's pretty much it. By the way, she's made about $50 million from that subscription platform only. And this is not talking about, the money she made immediately after the Cash Me Out stuff started on Dr. Phil, and of course the rap albums and the just regular old porn stuff that was out there before. The only fan site, the private site that makes you pay subscriptions to see the private stuff, mostly naughty bits, is making her about $50 million. So I think she's doing well. While she believes it's a little weird that so many older guys are looking at a younger woman in some creepy sort of scenarios, apparently she doesn't know older guys and creepy scenarios all that well. Maybe because she's so young. Maybe that's it. A weird transition on the youth, but let's go to Sesame Street. Why don't we? Welcomes its first Filipino Muppet, that being a new Muppet by the name of TJ. TJ is seen in his first scene marveling at Grover for his confidence in doing things that are pretty much crazy and would get him killed if he weren't the stuffed puppet. TJ goes into some things how he shares experience with confidence as well. TJ is 4 years old, a second generational Filipino American, and enjoys entertaining his little sister, gardening with his grandparents, and spending time with other family members. Voiced by Yinan Shintu and created by Bobby Portillas, he was based on two of Portillas' friends' children, and so you can get to see another member of the new Sesame Street family, being the new Muppet, who is TJ, the 4-year-old, joining the cast of the very popular children's series. Let's go to another one here, and sticking with Asian American love. Asian American mom suspects Princess Peach led to her son's beliefs that blondes are prettier. Now, work with me on this one for a second, because this is actually something that is kind of deeply rooted in some of skin politics, if you will. The Chinese American mother's two young sons reveal that they want to marry someone who has blonde hair. And they believe, or at least the mother believes, it's because their kids are watching a lot of, Western television, and they're in love with the Mario game, and Princess Peach is pretty and blonde, so that means blondes are pretty and blondes are better than anyone else. Not so much the fact that they are essentially not the racial stuff, not the color stuff, but basically blondes, which essentially come down to Caucasian people. This is actually something that has been studied in the past and has some validity to it. Now, many people believe that familiarity with your surroundings, people who are a certain races who tend to hang out with or being raised or have familiarity with other types of races and cultures that aren't necessarily their native culture. It doesn't become like a Stockholm syndrome, but it does become something where you're more familiar with something and you're more likely to just identify in those ways. These are some of the weird things that people think when a lot of white families adopt black children, because they don't really go to the real effort of making sure they know their history of their race, their culture, and just sort of live in the whitewash world because they're taking care of them. They're fine. It's important to make sure you're learning your culture, even if you're mixing in cultures, even in a time right now where the amalgam of stuff is all out there. But just because you believe that some object is a better, doesn't make it better. While this may be something that this mother may have her kids grow out of as they get older and realize that Princess Peach is just a bunch of pixels. This is a condition that people really do believe is an issue, and it does become a discussion at the picnics and the barbecues. And if you're not invited to the picnics and the barbecues, there's a reason why you're not hearing these discussions. Let's move on to the next story. Bo knows football. Bo knows baseball. Bo knows all sorts of stuff. Bo knows business. Bo also knows the suffering of hiccups, extended hiccups, for about a year. Bo Jackson has hiccups for nearly a year, would undergo procedure to provide relief. He's had drugs, he's had all sorts of things going on, but Bo Jackson, who's 60 years old as of right now, has been suffering from chronic hiccups since 2022. For about a year, he's going to do a procedure to hopefully relieve this. Everything he's tried so far has not happened, and essentially your hiccups are a spasm. Going into myself, when I had my issues with my my issues with my health, my kidneys. I had serious hiccups, and those hiccups were really spasms with my body essentially rejecting all sorts of stuff. It got really nasty. We're not going that deep in there. This is not the same thing. There have been many people. In fact, we had a person in the Today in History a few weeks back where it talked about the fact that he basically suffered from hiccups for like a decade or something like that. We'll have to go back a few episodes and a few scripts and see what was there. But this is a very serious thing that does happen to people. There are drugs and there are treatments for people who have chronic hiccups to the fact that it debilitates and screws their life up. We're sorry to hear this happen to Bo Jackson, but hopefully this procedure will help these things out. Justice to a bad fishtail coming to the fishermen who received jail time for cheating in the walleye tournament. You remember this story. Jacob Runyon, who's 43, and Chase Comiskey, 36, entered guilty pleas to cheating and illegal animal ownership after using weights to make their catches appear heavier at a fishing tournament, which almost got them killed on the spot, essentially. They were arrested after the fishing tournament had the fish's license suspended for 3 years. They also had to forfeit their boat, which is probably the biggest part of this, which was valued at $130,000. And they're spending jail time for actual fish tails. You can write your own jokes from that one. Apparently that joke didn't get written out so well by the robot editor. Finally, because we care so much about JoJo Siwa, JoJo Siwa accidentally butt dialed dad during intercourse. Yes, let's wrap the week up on something pretty sick, pretty icky, but a whole lot of funny. So essentially, this happened as the headline said. While getting freaky with her partner, JoJo Siwa accidentally butt dialed her father. Probably not with her butt, but it happened. He pressed the button, the phone rang. And dad picks up the phone. Dad says, "Hello, darling." Here's about 5 seconds of heavy breathing and sort of panting, and then hangs the phone up, then calls the next day to ask if they had fun because of the phone call he received the night before. A bit embarrassed, Miss Siwa had to admit, yeah, she had fun. Now, it's really weird and really funny and just kind of silly in this thing. But we've been talking about JoJo Siwa a lot in the past couple of years. She was a big part of my family's life as my daughter, as a 3 and 4-year-old, was in love with her MTV, or I guess her Nickelodeon videos and her show with the JoJo and Bobo show or something like that. It's all bows and a big swath of rainbows going forward. And then of course she was doing her last tour, and we were about to buy her tickets to that tour, and then she came out as a lesbian, and then people sort of backed away. Now she's apparently still doing fine, doing whatever it is she's doing. Daughter has moved on from JoJo Siwa, by the way, and she's still kind of dealing with her actual identity as what she is. She doesn't really have a term for it. She just says she's gay or she's queer and kind of go with that. There's a lot of things in her head of how to explain it. And she's pansexual, if you want to go that far. But like I said, we spend a lot of time in people's lives and people's bedrooms, which is probably why many people are spending way too much time in people's lives and their bedrooms. We're going to move on from there and go to the teaser story for the weekend. This is a story we may talk about this weekend or Monday per the weekend. If you deem this one worthy of chit chat, and you make this worthy by going to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/This Is the Conversation Project, and twitter.com/th_Twitter, or th_conversation, which oddly enough getting wrapped up in the words because it's about Twitter. Twitter is getting a new CEO, and Elon Musk says the replacement will start in about 6 weeks. The rumor is it may be the current head of ads over at NBC Universal. She is a woman. There's some other names banded around. We're told that Sheryl Sandberg is not taking the job because she said so. We'll deal with that going forward. But in 6 weeks, there'll be a new CEO. Elon Musk will be the CTO and technology guy, and we'll see how Twitter goes from there. Will we talk about this come Monday? Is this a story that's big enough to last a weekend to be talked about, or is it going to blow over basically all day today? You can let us know by just following us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and letting us know this is a story worth talking about. Engage in the story. Like it, love it, hate it, share it, get into it. And as you love the stories we post every 50 minutes, read them so you're up to date on stories going out there, and your engagement tells us what stories are conversational. That's how this thing works. See, there is a point to all the madness we have here. Now let's go to our sponsor for today, and it's Flowers Fast. Visit them at thisisaconversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is a conversationproject.com/flowersfast. And the reason why Flowers Fast is being put up today on Friday before Mother's Day is that it's the Friday before Mother's Day. And maybe you've not gotten that gift for your mom. Maybe you think that last minute phone call around 6:30 or 7 as you wrap up the day is going to fly. Well, do something better. It's way too late to go get something really massive and hope that Amazon gets it there on time. So why don't you call Flowers Fast and they'll take care of it. Flowers Fast is connected to all the FTD services, so you make an order today and they can sometimes do same day things. Since Mother's Day is on Sunday, I suggest you make the call today to get those flowers there for tomorrow. I don't think the florists are running on Sunday, and the grocery store flowers are going to be kind of icky by the time you get there Sunday morning. Just a thought. Do yourself a favor and keep Flowers Fast in your back pocket for things like, I forgot Mother's Day. I forgot something for my wife. I forgot something for other significant others that is not my wife that found out about my wife. That sounds like a bigger problem that you may have, but just in case you need a gift of many sorts, call Flowers Fast, visit Flowers Fast, see Flowers Fast at thisisaconversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is an affiliate link, so we get a bit of a cut from you using the service, but it's not going to cost you anything extra, and it may save your life or the life with your wife at Flowers Fast. The Conversation Project lives at thisisaconversationproject.com. That is our main website, as we said earlier on. And that's where you can find all the details of the things we do to, balance my sanity, because I really am disappointed. If you watch the Donald Trump fiasco that was at Town Hall the other night, you can understand why I am disappointed in the news, the way it's presented, and the news presenters as it is. We still need news gatherers with the resources to do that, but sometimes the stories that are put out there are not the best, and the presentations are really, really horrible as well. And so I like to aggregate from various different sources. Some of them I'm not too fond of myself, to see what's going out there, and then I bring it up to you guys so we can know what stories are actually more important to us, if you will. You can also find more things at the website, including other podcasts we do, other insights we have, the You're Welcome commentary, where we jump into the skin of someone who we may not believe and trust and know and think like, and speak those words that they say, just so that sometimes people can hear them being said out loud to them. If you think the things we're providing for you is pretty good content, we invite you to go to our partnerships page and help us out. Go to the partnerships page and see there's a way that you can directly partner up with us. The most important thing you can always do is just follow along, follow us in the feeds, be engaging in the stories, watch the videos, or listen to the audio podcast versions of things we have. But if you have the means, we would appreciate the help keeping things going. After all, I've got to pay for a house with a hole in it right now because of tornado. So there's that going on. This thing here does not pay the bills, never has, but a way to help keep it pay for itself would be appreciated. Thank you. Now, time for the fun stuff. Let's get to it with the birthdays. For today, May 12th. Ving Rhames, who's got the meats, he's got the voice, and he's got a birthday hat on his head today. 64 years old for Ving Rhames on this day. Emilio Estevez, who did not change his name to Sheen because Martin Sheen asked him not to, because the story that Martin Sheen changed his name to get for more gigs, but his Venezuelan father went and saw him at a play, saw Sheen on the bill, and sort of shook his head, which is why Charlie Sheen is Charlie Sheen, and Emilio Estevez still has his actual Spanish name. 61 years old on the day. Good actor, great guy as far as I know. Don't know him personally, but that's the story why he is still Estevez and Martin Sheen, is no longer, Estevez going forward. And much love to old school crush, Kim Fields, turning 54 years old today. Of course, setting the world on fire as Tootie on both Different Strokes and The Facts of Life, doing many things going forward. And of course, Regine on Living Single, coming back into my life for a older crush as opposed to a teenage crush. Loving Kim Fields, not on the ex-wives list because, trust me, I could not make that cut. Just not even going to go there. Kim Fields, 54 on the day today. Also, today in history. Some things you might not have known happened on this 12th day of May. Back in 1932, a new character, Dippy Dog, appeared in the cartoon Mickey's Review by Walt Disney. Later, Disney changed Dippy's name to Goofy. Dippy Dog has a weird kind of history where he was a dog, a weird looking dog, and then they seemed to take his ears away and he became a human. And then he grew his ears back and became Goofy, who is a dog, even though Pluto is also a dog. Go with it. In 1965, at Chess Studios in Chicago, the Rolling Stones recorded the first tracks for Satisfaction. And in 1989, Joe Valdez Calabro died at the age of 81. But he died a hero, as he was the inventor of the hard taco shell, bringing Taco Tuesday to us all, that as a grand figure for all of us to love and enjoy. Sad loss for Joe Valdez Calabrero, the inventor of the hard taco shell. And today, let's go to our celebration, which is Eat a Radish Day. Now, I pulled this from the list a little early, so then I actually went to look for it. Today, there actually isn't a big proclamation I can find on the internet for Eat a Radish Day, but there is a lot of talk about what happens when you eat a radish every day. So we stuck with it. Eat a Radish Day or Eat a Radish every day. Today is a day to find a radish and eat it. Go to the links and go into deeper detail on what radishes do for your health and try to eat one today. I can tell you chances are I won't find a radish today because it's sort of busy, but maybe we'll find some radishes later on in the week and we'll chop them up, put them in the refrigerator because we eat more salads, and add more radishes to our salads. That might be a great addition. Just grabbing a radish and throwing it in my mouth like a grape, probably not happening. And finally, remember, Sunday is Mother's Day. And one more thing you might not have heard in dealing with that is that as Mother's Day approaches, you may want to think twice before serving mom breakfast in bed. Or in a survey, 7% of moms would rather sleep or have uninterrupted time to themselves than have breakfast in bed on Mother's Day. The survey also showed that nearly 80% of moms are torn equally between spending an extra hour with their children or themselves. So go to thisistheconversationproject.com/flowersfast and send your mom some flowers. Send them on Saturday. Don't call her till late on Sunday, and have a short conversation because she really wants to be alone. Science, I guess. Let's wrap this thing up for today and the week. It is Friday, May the 12th, 2023, as I speak these words into this microphone onto the camera or the recorder, which is how you're getting this via the web version, the video where it's live. It's in recording or it's in the podcast audio form. We thank you so much for being a part of what we provide for you guys. It's partly for me to keep me sane because I like news coverage, but a big chunk for you because people enjoy having, trust me, it's biased. I'm biased, but having a better source of news than just the kind of the fire hose of the single stories going on. Donald Trump and his town hall, essentially the news all day long yesterday. It was pretty nuts, believe it or not. But thank you so much for being a part of what we're doing here and helping things go on. If you believe we're providing for you some pretty good content and pretty good value, we could use some help. We can also use some help. So check out how to do that by going to our website and click on the partnerships page. Follow our feeds on Facebook and Twitter so you can help vote stories up for what we're going to talk about, the whole point. And of course, stay hydrated. Brought the mug back. Stay limber and on task for all the grand things you have going on in life. Because of a lot of the stories we had this week, a lot of things happening going on, I want to remind you one more time that if you are in need, if you need someone to talk to, if you're having a bad day or a bad string of days and just need someone to kind of bounce things off, try the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 988. It's 988 on your cell phone or the phone or text messages. Basically, everybody has cell phones these days, so that's how you get to them on your cell phone, 988 from there. Or you can go to 988 Lifeline via the web.org, 988lifeline.org via the web. You can visit with people 24 hours a day in English and Spanish and have a conversation. Or as I say often, and I do really mean it, find me online. We'll chat a little bit because trust me, I have been there. I am sometimes now there, and it's something that you don't need to be doing by yourself. With that, let's wrap this puppy up for the week. We're going to post new stories every 50 minutes all weekend long. We're going to do our best to make sure we stay consistent. So just follow us check every so often on the weekend, see what's going on, and help us out, help a brother out and your other conversationalists out on getting us good stories for the week come Monday. I'm out. Love you much. Let's do it again Monday morning.